Aloha, beautiful Star Nations, human family on the planet. Bliss here to do a little share about the new intel coming in as we have moved through the fiction Scorpio new moon solar eclipse window, which is symbolic of a great transformation and transfiguration on the planet. Guillermo, have been feeling you, feeling we, and Oceana, and the golden dolphin, and all those things. So good to see you here. So today's sharing is a little touch in about all the information that is coming in from the dolphins and whales currently. Lovely angel. And wow, some sailboat is going through some Gnostic process right now. Okay. So I have been spending a lot of time recently out with the dolphins and whales, and as an oracle who receives information from whatever field we are in, the very, very clear message from the dolphins and the whales is all about our breath. And what they have been bringing through is the codices and the awareness to we bliss, how to shift our perception of breathing and what breath really is. So we are going to be offering a series of upcoming online retreats specifically about the breath, not from ancient yogic practices that have been taught about the breath, but about the actual information that is coming in from the whales and dolphins, who are the carriers of the new great consciousness that is streaming into our planetary body from all the star nations akashas. And so as we have passed through the 9-9 and the 9-11 gates, where we completed all the clearing of the shadowy under realms of the covert patterns that have been held inside of we from lifetimes and lineages and ancestries of oppression and karmic wounding, which is the clearing that we have all been doing for aeons in time. And now that that has all passed, we are moving into our new realities, our new awarenesses, our new physicalities, our new consciousness. And through the breath that the breath guidance that the whales and dolphins are bringing in, we are going to be sharing in these online retreats about the very specific, very articulate, very precise information from the whales and dolphins coming in. And it goes against everything that we've been taught about our physical bodies, because what the whales and dolphins are showing right now is that we are literally transforming our consciousness, or moving our consciousness into our new physicalities, our diamond light bodies. And so they're guiding us what is already here that we might not see or perceive with our current senses, but it's already forming around us in light matrices. So, a couple of things. First of all, I have put a link in this description box for this transmission about a lymphatic breath practice. It's 20 miracle minutes long. It is from a YouTube channel called Take a Breath. Take a deep breath. I wrote the name down below. It's 20 miracle minutes, and it is simply a 4-second in breath, a 16-second hold, and an 8-second out breath. So the in breath is through the nose, out breath is through the mouth. And you can use that video if you're looking for ways to begin to transform your form, because we are in alchemical transfiguration. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. You can share it right now with that little share button. I think it's down in the right hand corner. So that is the first thing that we would suggest to everyone. And the guidance probably came in back in February and really started to focus specifically on the breath, because the breath is our gateway to the mitochondria. And thank you, Emery of Light, for the link you posted. Breath is the gateway to the mitochondria in our bodies, and the mitochondria is what holds all the supernatural capacities. And right now, with the pod, we're doing a 2-month retreat called Supernatural. And it's all about the alchemical instructions of how to access the mitochondrial DNA. So mitochondrial DNA is what holds our star knowledge, our wisdom, our memories beyond the planetary body, and connects us to the source from which we came, and the source that flows through and animates all life the same, all equal. So we have been transcending the misbeliefs and misinformation of an inequality that was perpetuated upon all consciousness, to believe that life is not animated equally and all the same from the same source that gives life to every particle and cell of creation. So the dolphins and the whales are showing us how to access the supernatural capacities now. And what I've been sharing with the online pod is this 20 miracle minute lymphatic breath process. Very simple, as we say, 4 breaths in, or 4 seconds of deep breathing in, 16 seconds of hold, 8 seconds of out breath through the mouth, in breath through the nose. The guidance is downloading all the instructions for Flight Lessons 101, which we have been talking about for years, and we are very excited that it is finally the miracle coordinate to share the codices of Flight Lessons 101, which is the activation of our supernatural capacities that we all know resides within our form. And so it is a step by mechanical step process. It's textbook, and all it requires is patience all along. And the lymphatic breath, the 20 miracle minute lymphatic breath, we are inviting each and every one of we to tune into and to do it every miracle day. Bliss does it upon rising and when we go to rest. And what the guidance is saying is that it relaxes our nervous system in such a way that we are able to move deeper into the mitochondrial DNA. So until the nervous system is relaxed and the autonomic nervous system is not overtaxed and the amygdala is not on overdrive in fear and the adrenal glands are not pumping out adrenaline, we can't move into the supranatural mystic capacity that resides in here, our physical form. So for anyone that is interested to find out more information about the breath sessions as they come up, we have also put a link in the description box to put yourself on the mailing list if you're not. And as the information comes out, we will send breath reports and invitations for all of We Human Pod to join we in these breath processes that are very different and very unique, that are coming through the informational fields of being out with the whales and the dolphins for many miracle days, many days a week. And we were on a boat this miracle day, and we were surrounded by what they call a megapod, and thousands and thousands of dolphins as far as you can see in every direction. And it was a very special communion with this pod, because we looked around and noticed that everyone around us was crying on the boat, and we knew that this pod was downloading miraculous codes and coordinates of new consciousness of consciousness to everyone on the boat. And as an oracular vehicle, Bliss has the capacity and the articulation to tune in to transduce this. And so that's where all this information about the breath that is very unique is coming from. It's coming from the whales and dolphins, who are the very beings that guided we for over a decade to do the walkabout on the grids. The whales are the singers of the song lines on the planetary body. And one of the fun and interesting things one of the naturalists on the boat shared today is that he said that people who study dolphins have discovered that when dolphins send out information through their clicks and all of their magnificent sounds, they always preface their communication with their name first. So that was a cool piece as well. Bliss's first memory and revelation of coming to this planetary body itself was as a dolphin on a light ship that came through a sacred wormhole, a sacred portal. And when we saw the magnificent blue planet that we refer to as Oceania in the stars, we were very, very joyous to come to assist her through her planetary ascension. And we remember coming covered in colors and codes and frequencies from the stars to bring that assistance. And so that assistance right up until 9/9 was to support the dismantling of the disharmonic structures on the planetary body that were created through the misdirecting of the ley lines. And just like how water was dammed on the planet, rivers were dammed and water was redirected and valleys were flooded and so on and so on. Doing that is exactly the same, has the exact same effect when it is done to the energy lines of the planet, the electromagnetic ley lines that can't be seen by the human eyes, but those ley lines are actually felt by all of nature. And right now the guidance is saying it's the butterflies, dolphins, and whales that are communicating with us to align ourselves with this new consciousness simplistically through the transfiguration of our physical forms, so that we can receive the codices of the new consciousness easily in our physical forms. And again, if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. And you can share it right now so people can join us live. Let's go back to this transfiguration of form. Many of us, of course, have probably discovered we don't really eat food anymore, or maybe we nibble or we munch. And the key piece that came to we again through the dolphins was just add amino acids to your form, because a lot of people may still be eating, but the food is not satisfying their body at all, but they're putting food in their mouth because they know their body is seeking something. The body is seeking the amino acids themselves, because the amino acids are what support the building blocks of the body to form. So we basically have been reverse engineering ourselves home, and we have home back to source, back to our awareness of source. And now we go from that baseline of the amino acids and the proteins to restructure our physical forms. So again, we will go back to the 20 miracle minute lymphatic breath that we have shared a link for in the description box. And the importance of this is that it helps us to relax our nervous systems, which is an absolute necessity for what is called the higher frequencies. We don't really call it frequency from where we are from. We call it source. because source is beyond frequency, and that is what is coming in, of course. So the lymphatic breath will help each and every one of us to relax our nervous systems, and very significant piece, to dissolve the perception of time. Our beloved Richard Rudd in the Gene Keys in the 60th gene shows us in the 60th gene that when the 60th city ignites in multiple beings, it will be the end of the world as we know it, and Gaia and the cells that make up her form will move forth into a new reality in the blink of an eye. So, and all we have to do is transcend our belief in gravity and time. So this systematic, mechanical, step-by-step process that is being downloaded by the guidance of how to reconfigure our awareness and our physical form is how we dissolve the belief, the attachment, the patterning in the cellular network of the body to have a bondage to gravity and time. That's really what it meant. The Christ pinned to the cross was a symbol of a human being bound to the cross of time and gravity. And so, as Richard says in the 60th gene, time and gravity are not bad or wrong. They're just part of a lower density frequency. They're part of a carbon-based physical form. And he's saying that to transcend that carbon-based form, we have to transcend time and gravity itself and connect into the triple helix that connects us to the ocean of consciousness that is all around. And we don't have to go to the stars in a metal ship to get there. It's all around us and it's inside of us. It's about knowing how to turn on these light ships, because these light ships are the movie projectors that are projecting the external reality all around us. So these transmissions are about understanding the mechanics of how to turn off and shut down, which is what we've been doing for many miracle years, so that we can turn on the new systems now. And so the lymphatic breath promise, if we follow Wee's inspiration to just do that 20 miracle minute lymphatic breath every day at rising, is perfect. And be still with it, be coherent, watch thought forms come up, maybe there's resistance to do it that long, all those things. All those things are the things that are in the way of us accessing our supernatural capacities here today. So it's not like we have to go sit in a cave in Tibet or study with the Buddhist monks for lifetimes to access what is already within. These transmissions guide us through the way, and Bliss has a brain map that confirms many miracle years ago that Wee's brain was operating outside of time. And so breath is the easiest way to dissolve one's belief in both gravity and time. Promise, 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 if you do the lymphatic breath every day for 30 days, you will discover the pure essence of your consciousness is not bound by physicality, it's not bound by a job, it's not bound by a family, it's not bound by a personality, it's not bound by a car or a watch. Because when we do the breath play consistently, the consciousness will be freed from the patterns that have one believe we are bound to the form. So in some of Bliss's many miraculous experiences that we had in contact with star nations and so on, and our star family beyond what our physical bodies perceive, it came through breath play. And every time for the guidance would we're just trying, these beautiful rays of light, every time we would go into the breath play, the guidance would come into we. In fact, we's first connection with we's 13th dimensional family, which we had prayed for many, many miracle years, when it finally came for we, it came for we in a way that came through breath play. And when we made the physical connection and we found we self in a wormhole, and with a slight physical thump at the other end with our 13th dimensional Star Nation family, blue beings standing over we had many experiences, all telepathic, and one of them that was that all of a sudden we's physical body began to go, I need to breathe. And my consciousness said to my physical body, no, you don't need to breathe. And that was the moment I found myself back in my bed, and my Star Nation family said to me, this was many miracle years ago, you did very well for our first physical contact, and we sent you back because we don't want your body to record any panic or stress from these contact experiences. And so we went into more play and more self-discovery of the power of the breath to unlock we's consciousness from the bonds of gravity and time. Again, if this love stream might be inspiring, unique and different than anything you're hearing out there right now, we invite we to press the share button in the little bottom, I think it's the right hand corner maybe, to share it right miracle now so others can join us live. Of course, live is always, we're always fully present, and this sharing is always live. So we Bliss has spent many miracle years being guided by the guidance to do very unique things, not to follow standard breath practices unless the guidance comes in and says do some pranayama and those kinds of things. So what is being offered by the whales and the dolphins that is coming through that we Bliss will be sharing in the next miracle months and years, even though time isn't real, is the complete orientation of our awareness around the breath, to remember that the body doesn't need to breathe. Just like when one does a fast, they go, oh, my body, I don't actually need to eat. I broke through all those beliefs that I would starve if I didn't eat. Exactly the same with the breath. So these transmissions are now completely new and different than everything we were doing up until the date of 9/9, which was about the unplugging, dismantling, and dissolution of the covert patterns in the physical body that were disorienting consciousness and binding consciousness to those misdirected ley lines. So all of the structures on the fictional planet that were created through cities, and many of the forms have been to redirect the electromagnetic ley lines, just like dams redirect the river's direction and form. And because of those consciously redirected electromagnetic ley lines, humanity of the Western world became bonded to the Western form through the electromagnetic ley lines misinforming humanity's physical form. And that's why for many miracle years all the scribes and oracles and so on have been saying go back to nature. The indigenous have been saying stay connected to nature all along. Because when we go out into nature and we get away from the cities and we get away from our phones and we get away from the technology that is all part of those redirected electromagnetic ley lines that have nothing to do with the shifting of the planetary form, which is going from terrestrial carbon to celestial, which is crystalline diamond light. And these transmissions are to assist us easily to know how to align. So Start with the 20 if you feel that you are inspired and you are already on the mailing list, or you are going to join because you want to hear more when these breath transmissions are to be shared. Please add yourself to the mailing list, which the link is here. If you feel that you are inspired to learn how to access the mitochondrial DNA in your physical form, and you are excited for these breath transmissions coming, please begin now by following the link below for that 20 miracle minute lymphatic breath that we have shared. You don't need the video. You can count out the breaths yourself. We'll talk more about that in the online retreats. You can set a timer. All it is that 4-second in breath, 16-second hold, 8-second out breath to begin to prepare your body. Get your body warmed up and ready to go now, because the transmissions will start there. Because that is the starting point. Just like an Olympic athlete does not show up to the Olympics without doing a warm-up. The lymphatic breath is the warm-up way for the entire physical body. Aloha, Philip. Aloha, Brooke. Someone who knows a lot about whales. The lymphatic breath is the warm-up. So get started now, miracle. Because as we pass through this solar eclipse new moon, humanity is fully released in totality, all humanity, regardless of what role anyone has played. And in the next 6 months in Western astrology and linear time, which these transmissions are not, but we use this as symbolic language to communicate to aspects of ourselves that might still be part of time and gravity in those linear ways, that from now until March 2023 is a huge emphasis on realigning our consciousness with the new consciousness that lives within us and has been guiding all of us along the way. Again, in the 60th gene, Richard says, when the 60th city ignites in multiple beings, it will be the end of the world as we know it, and Gaia and the cells that make up her consciousness will move forth into a new reality in the blink of an eye. And he also says, we all feel it, we all know it, because it is programmed in the depths of our DNA. We don't know what it looks like, but the signal is held and has been emanating out from the depths of everyone's DNA. And what Richard said about the harmonic, or the melodic convergence of December 21st, 2012, was that was the moment of, it was a benchmark for, had we realigned our consciousness inside of ourselves to keep up with, I'm reiterating in my own languaging what he's saying there, but what he was saying is that from that point forth, we had to stay with the fast-paced transformation and transfiguration that was happening in our lives, inside of us, and in our worlds, and keep redirecting our course to stay in alignment with the planetary body itself. So this is no different. This eclipse is the signal to make the shift, and we've been making posts about the breath, to make our focused awareness primarily on our breath now. People call me and ask me, what about money? How's the money thing going to change? I'm like, it's not about the money. It's about true superabundance, and in the genetics, superabundance is the unlocking of the consciousness from the 2-strand DNA. Did we get that? That's true superabundance. So when people get distracted to keep focusing on the old Roman Greco style world, it's not good, bad, right, or wrong. We're all bridging our 3D lives and simultaneously to be one with the new consciousness and experience true superabundance, which is beyond all middle men, all systems placing themselves between us and source. The gateway is the breath. So I feel that is a good full share for now. If you're interested to join the mailing list because you're not on it already, there is a link that says join mailing list, and you can click that now. And we will be sending out links as the structure of how to present the breath comes through in simplified articulated ways to share with the collective, which is already coming through for the pod that has been with we for many miracle years. The information is very precise and very structured of how to access the mitochondria in the DNA. So please start now with the lymphatic breath every single day. Do it 10 times a day as a breath practice and process. And as you get through whatever might be the stumbling blocks, as we say, I don't want to do it this long, this is boring, it's uncomfortable, all those things are the very obstacles that one must move through to be able to be 20 miracle minutes in coherent lymphatic breath, to experience and access the next steps. What we've been sharing with the pod that has been with we consistently in the transmission for many miracle years is that every word ever spoken in this transmission has had a very specific purpose to align us with our destiny as supernatural mystic beings in our diamond light bodies. And so this is not a red pill, blue pill thing in the sense of hurry along, how can we buy it? What currency will be the new currency and all these things. It's inside of us. And the way to access it means we have to get over the resistance to be patient enough to sit for 20 miracle minutes in a breath practice, to relax the nervous system long enough to receive the next impulses that are coming from the great central sun. So there's one other piece to share right now. The patience, which is part of the teaching of the lymphatic breath, and if you do it every day, you will start to discover that you are experiencing the one and only thing the spirit has ever craved. The spirit hasn't craved a big house. The spirit has never craved a better car. The spirit has craved freedom and liberation from bondage to carbon, from bondage to time and gravity, to be one with the truth of who we are, which is both physical and non-physical simultaneously. So if you are inspired to follow my invitation to do the 20 miracle minute lymphatic breath every day for the next miracle month, even though time isn't real, but let's just create a container to inspire an inspiration to do it every miracle day. We discover that the spirit finds that thing that has been longing for inside of itself, that it was seeking outside of itself, until we realized we'd never find it outside of ourselves, and we drew our spirit home to ourselves by removing our consent from everything outside of ourselves. That was part of the old way. The lymphatic breath takes our spirit to that place it has been guiding us to all along. And why has our spirit been guiding us back to that free and liberated place that we can access through 20 miracle minutes of lymphatic breath every single miracle day? Because when we come back to that liberated place of the spirit, and be guided through the mechanics of this transmission and perhaps other transmissions that are on the planet and perhaps sacred teachings that have been here all along. We can then redirect our conscious awareness into our mitochondrial cosmic Akash. And when we find our way home into our mitochondrial cosmic Akash, we manifest instantly the entire reality in totality. Think golden apple, produce golden apple in the palm. So these are the step by meticulous step processes, and we will be sharing them more in online retreats. As right now, as we shared, they're coming through with the pod that has been with we for many miracle years, following step by meticulous step the instruction set and the guidance that has been coming through to prepare us for this massive transfiguration. Full, true, real activation of the diamond light body. No more new age spiritual family getting stuck, capped out at 8th wave consciousness and less. This is true access to 9th wave consciousness, which is unity consciousness, which is why Yogananda and Babaji gave we the name in 2015 and why we changed it legally on a very specific day to restore unity, which is the second gene, the feminine principle in the collective consciousness through the matrix structures themselves, because we had to change we's birth certificate name when we legally changed we's name. And grace is the 22nd gene, which is the entire mechanistic sequence for physical ascension. And so when we changed we's legal name to unity grace through the old systems, we restored in all consciousness, like it or not, the missing codices, the missing teachings of the feminine Christos from the planetary Akash, which is what was capping humanity out at 8th wave and less in the physical form, except for a few adepts in the ancient mystery schools who passed all the tests and were exposed to the original way of accessing our cosmic essence and our cosmic Akash through the mitochondrial DNA. So that is what is coming through these transmissions now for those who are inspired and feel that this is clear and articulate and profound. We invite you to join the mailing list if you're not on it yet, because the way the codices are coming through is precise for how to access the supernatural mystic that is flowing from within. We love we thank we for tuning in. If you're inspired by this love stream, please share it. That's called gifting. And let's move together forward in this divine acceleration and ignition of the 60th city and multiple beings that move forth with Gaia in her physical ascension process. We love we. We're guided to add one other thing. No one is left behind, because this is all about choice, to receive the instructions and follow the instruction set to access the codes inside. And everyone has a choice. Everyone is welcome to these teachings. Everyone has a choice. And there's many different paths to find these teachings. This is just one transmission that is sharing this Merkaba activation set. And this is not the 6-star Merkaba. This is not Metatron's cube. This is the 9-arc Merkaba that ignites us with the 9-arc Merkaba of the planetary body, which is what allows her to go celestial, just like me and you. Okay. We love we so much. If the love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. Thanks for all the love. Beautiful messages in the chat. We love we so much. Aloha.